Okay, so somebody else wanted another example of just graphing a quadratic. So here's an example I just made up. Y equals x squared plus 4x plus 5. So let's go through all the steps. So first step is to find the vertex. So remember, to find the x of the vertex, it's negative b over 2a. Your b here is 4, so it's negative 4 over 2 times a, which in this case is 1. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So you just found the x-coordinate of the vertex. Remember, you also just found AOS. I like to call that axis of symmetry because I don't like to write it all out. You just found the equation, remember, to write x equals of the axis of symmetry. Now, to backtrack, to find the y of the vertex, you need to put that x value in for x. Please note how I'm using parentheses. That's really important with a negative number. So if I'm squaring quantity negative 2, remember negative 2 times negative 2, that's 4. This is going to be negative 8 and plus 5. So I'm going to get negative 4 plus 5, I'm going to get 1. So my vertex is at negative 2, 1. All right, next question. Doesn't really matter the order here, but do you have a max or a min? Well, a is 1, which is positive, so that means, I guess I could go here and answer part D. It means it's going to open up. Remember, when it opens up like that, you have a minimum at your vertex. So min at negative 2, 1. We just determined it opens up. Your domain, at this point, everyone should get this right. Remember, domain for all of these problems is all real numbers. You can use the symbol, or you can write out the words all reals. The next one is range. And so remember the little tricks of the trade we've talked about. If it's opening up like this, we take y, and then you take the y value of your vertex. Okay, so just to give you a visual, so that's why it's 1. And it's opening up, it's always going to be bigger than 1. This is the smallest y value, everything's above that. So our range is y is greater than or equal to 1. The y-intercept, remember the y-intercept is just your c value. Your c value is 5. So as an ordered pair, that's 0, 5. And then I'm going to do my x-intercept over here. Remember, this is what we did all last unit. You're putting 0 in for y, and you are going to solve. And so this is a case where you might think you could factor. So if you're like, hey, yeah, I think I can factor. I think I can find factors of 5 to give you 4. And I thought that for a minute too. But remember, the only factors of 5 are 5 and 1. And to get 4, you'd have to have a negative 1 and a positive 5. And negative 1 times 5, that would be a negative 5. So factoring doesn't work. So you could do completing the square or the quadratic formula. If you've been listening to my videos, you know quadratic formula is my preferred way. So here we go. X equals negative b, so that's negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 4 squared, minus 4 times your a, which is 1, times your c, which is 5, all divided by 2 times 1, which is your a. So let's simplify. We get 16 minus 20. We'll stop there. 16 minus 20, that's a negative 4. Can you take the square root of negative 4? Nope. So do we have any x-intercepts? No, there aren't any. None. So because we don't have any, this is going to be a situation where you're going to have to make a table to get those extra values. All right, so here we go. I'm going to make my makeshift graph. What do I have to go to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so our vertex was at negative 2, 1. So there's that. Axis of symmetry was at x equals negative 2. Remember, that's an imaginary line. Your y-intercept is at 0, 5. Yay, we can finally use this. All right, so let's have this conversation. The y-intercept of 0, 5. How many units on the x-axis is that away from your axis of symmetry? Okay, so here we are at 0, because it's 0, 5. So it's 1, 2 away. So remember, we have to go 2 to the left of the axis of symmetry to find what this is reflected over. So it's going to be right here, and just to label that, because it's kind of hard to tell me doing this on yellow paper, this is the point, negative 4, 5. So 0, 5 reflects to negative 4, 5. And this would be great, but remember my little stipulation of having 5 points. So again, pick an easy point for yourself. Value for x, I would pick -1. I wouldn't pick 5, I wouldn't pick 1, because that's going to be over here somewhere. I want to get a point that's somewhere on my graph. So -1, be careful substituting that in to your equation. So -1 squared is 1 minus 4 plus 5. So that's going to be -3 plus 5, which is going to be 2. So -1 is at 2. Again, we want to use the symmetry of the axis of symmetry. So if -1 is at 2, flip that over. What's the mirror image of that? Just to label that for you, that would be at -3, 2. So -1, 2 reflects to -3, 2. You've got your 5 points, and there is your graph.